Mikel, congratulations.
Thank you.
What is the manager thinking at the end of a first half with 7 goals? At least you were on the right side of the scoreline.
I was happier with the first 30 minutes than in the last 15, that's for sure, because we started incredibly well. So positive, so much energy, a lot of quality. We scored different goals. We were a real threat. And then when we scored the fourth one, immediately after we scored 1 goal, I think a very sloppy one. We take the kickoff backwards, lose it, unbelievable free kick, and then it's game on. So thanks God that we scored the 5th one. And that allowed us, obviously, in the second half to play a different game, to manage the game much more, to manage the tempo of the game much better. They were more aggressive, but overall, 10 goals in 2 games away from home. That's a big credit to the boys.
Not bad. I'm going to try to go back chronologically. So the first goal with Gabriel. Before the goal, he seemed to be talking to the players, kind of maybe calling the play. I wanted to understand more of the process.
You won't understand, I'm sorry.
Hey! not even a little how they change the plays. How does it work?
No.
Nothing?
No, I can't, I'm sorry.
But is it down to the players? They have this freedom.
They take a lot of ownership on that, and they really believe, not only on corners, with the way we scored today on open play, the combinations that we had, the real threat, where it's threading behind, where we're doing short combinations. Really, really impressive.
An easier one, the second goal, the movements. We've been talking about the movements for the past couple of matches, but is it textbook perfect movements, that second goal?
Yeah, it's a connection, obviously, getting the players in the right positions, and then it's timing and execution, and they did it so well. The players on both sides, the players on weak side, so very good.
5 goals, but I wanted to talk about the assist maker, Saka, 10 assists this season. How has it been to develop this part of his game? Because he comes more and more complete. His game is just growing.
Well, a player that every game has to make something happen, you know, and that's something to reflect on the scoreline. And he's been really consistent, scoring, assisting, being always available as well for us, so really good.
4-0 up, and then West Ham scored twice. What do you feel it could have managed differently in those two goals?
Sometimes you can manage, but sometimes it's the quality of the opponent as well, and you have to respect that they have tremendous players up front. They can create from any situation. They do that, and then, yeah, momentum shifts. You can sense the energy in the stadium changing as well, so we were really, really good to score the 5th one.
Before the match, you said you wanted to get this win. Now you're second on the table, to watch more comfortably Manchester City play Liverpool. So big win in this sense as well, thinking about the title race.
Yes, to do our job, and we've done it today in a really convincing way as well. So every 3 days now we've been really strong, and then tomorrow, enjoy the match. Beautiful game of football.
Well done, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quite nice for Mikel Arteta to sit and enjoy that game, having done the business for Arsenal this evening against West Ham. When you look at the top of the table, Arsenal in second place now. They're 2 points clear of Manchester City. They're 6 points off Liverpool, but that could change tomorrow, depending, obviously, on what happens in the game at Anfield. But there's a sense of satisfaction with Arsenal. Job done as far as they're concerned this weekend. Is there a best outcome for that game at Anfield for Arsenal?
Look, I feel with Arsenal and any particular club at this moment in time, they will just sit back and enjoy the game. They can't control it, of course they can't. But the outcome for me would have to be a draw. For the actual league itself, you would probably want to see Man City try and get back to the levels where we expect them to be. And I'm sure tomorrow is the game where they will expect that. But Arsenal in a good position right now. They're in a good place mentally as well, I think, is why you can just see there the goals they're scoring. They need to keep fit. Martin Odegaard, that's the one key player in this moment in time that, just like Jamie said, just fixes Arsenal's different options. He causes different problems, and he's so important, and for them to really establish themselves to be title contenders, because they just outscore when he plays. They score more goals.
We just see the goal difference has all of a sudden changed as well. Liverpool had a far superior goal difference to anybody else. All of a sudden with those goals today, it just gives you a little bit of a lift as well. They've got to keep asking the question, are Arsenal out of this title race? Of course they're not. They are right in it. They've got the players, they've got the experience. Obviously, they've not won the title, but they know how to go the distance in terms of making sure that they're going to be really difficult to beat. I mean, that game has become, obviously, a really big one, the next one. And I think that's probably what he's going to keep telling his players. That's what every player says when you're in a title race. Just take care of the next game. Obviously, Manchester United with Amorim coming in, that's going to bring different problems as well. They've got to make sure they're at it there. Fulham away, Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Brentford. They're games that, when you're playing well, you'll be chomping at your bit. You can't wait to get your teeth stuck into. But Premier League, anything can still get thrown up. There are no easy games.
5 of those 6 are in the bottom half of the table, the only exception being Brentford, who are in 7th place as things stand. So Arsenal may have a little bit of breathing room as they head into that next round of fixtures, taking it right up to New Year's Day. But for West Ham, well, it started off with that draw between Brighton and Southampton. That game finished 1-1. Earlier today, Kevin Schade got his first senior hat-trick in a 4-1 win for Brentford at home to Leicester. Ruud van Nistelrooy, the new Leicester boss, was watching on from the stands. Crystal Palace with their 94th minute equaliser at home to Newcastle. Nottingham Forest a 1-0 win over Ipswich. That was Chris Wood from the penalty spot. And Wolves 2, Bournemouth 4, a game in which Justin Kluivert got a hat-trick of penalties. That's the first time that's happened in the Premier League. We just watched that 5-2 victory for Arsenal against West Ham. Man United play Everton, Tottenham play Fulham, and on Super Sunday, it's Chelsea against Aston Villa, Liverpool against Manchester City, and all the goals from the games that have happened so far available for you on the Sky Sports app. Best way to get there is to scan the QR code that you can see in front of you right now. Let's see what all of that has done to their table then, starting at the very bottom, where Southampton have just 5 points from their opening 13 games. Ipswich and Wolves making up the bottom 3. Crystal Palace just outside, courtesy of that late equaliser today. Then it's Leicester, Everton and West Ham up in 14th place. At the top of the table, Brighton temporarily occupied second space. That is now occupied by Arsenal after that win. They're 2 points clear of both Brighton and Manchester City. It's a 6-point gap to the league leaders Liverpool. But remember, Manchester City could also close the gap when the two go head-to-head at Anfield tomorrow.
Well done. Great performance overall, but how important were those first 35 minutes? Because it was such a strong start from Arsenal.
Yeah, it was a very, very strong start, and we remember we played similar like this last year, so we knew we wanted to start strong, and we definitely did that.
And before I come into your goal, I want to talk about your assists. You reached 10 assists this season, more than last season. How has it been for you to develop this part of your game?
Well, I'm just constantly looking to improve and create and score goals for this team. And yeah, I'm doing that right now, and I'm enjoying my football. I'm playing with confidence, so I want to continue like this.
How much have you been enjoying? Because, of course, you're an attacking player. Of course, you prefer to score goals. But how much pleasure are you taking from these assists?
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of pleasure. I like to score and create, but the biggest pleasure is winning and getting 3 points on the board. So I'm very happy today.
And talking about assists, it was a nice moment when you gave the ball to Odegaard for his penalty, and then he gave it back to you. How was that moment?
No, it was nice. Martin's a top player. He's been playing so good since he's come back, and he wanted to take the penalty to score today, and I'm more than happy to give him the ball because he always gives me the ball. So we have a good connection, and like I said, let's just keep this form going.
Yes, the connection is on and off the pitch then.
Yeah, on and off the pitch, yeah.
And for your goal, of course, it's a priority for you to score goals, but how have you been feeling with the movements the team has been making and the connections, the link-ups back with Odegaard?
Yeah, I think definitely the last 3 games we've been back to our best, back to our best way of playing. We're fluid, we're dynamic, and you can see the movements, the rotations, everything looks good. So we need to continue like this. You know, we played 3 good games, but we know in this league it's not enough. We have a big game on Wednesday, Manchester United, so we're going to be ready for that and look to do the same thing.
Well done then. You are player of the match. Congratulations, Bukayo.
Thank you very much.
What a week Arsenal are having. 5 goals in this game against West Ham, 5 goals against Sporting in midweek, the 3 goals against Nottingham Forest last weekend. And Mikel Saka is having a fantastic season for Arsenal. It's 10 assists, as Natalie mentioned in the interview there. The record is 20. That was Thierry Henry, and Kevin De Bruyne has done it as well.
Good company.
So he's halfway there already. He's not just bettered his own stats from last season. He's on his way to a Premier League record, potentially.
And as well, he's on his way with a long period of the season without his partner in crime in Odegaard. It's incredible stats. He's just playing with confidence. The smile on his face when he speaks about Man United now, he's already speaking about that Man United. He's always up for the challenge. At such a still tender age, he's so experienced man in that dressing room. I mean, he's making that position his own. It's incredible to be that involved at this stage of the season to stay consistently fit as well. So you got to give credit to him, what they do with himself off the field, because on the field he just blesses it completely, Jamie. It's incredible to see.
What a role model. He's an incredible role model, so intelligent, eloquent, knows the game inside out. He just comes across as a fine young man. It must be a dream for any kind of manager that wants to, whether it's the England manager or obviously Arsenal. And the job that he's doing and the improvements that he's making every single day are just frightening. You know, the level he's getting to. Because he can score goals, he can make goals, he's got great desire, he runs in behind, he's so difficult to defend against. And you can see I think everybody, Arsenal struggled without Odegaard, but when Odegaard comes back in, that connection, Theo, is just absolutely perfect.
But they struggled, but he just took leadership and ownership and thinking, right, we've got our main player out, I will take this team now and trying to make sure we stay at a level. They weren't quite at the level of scoring all these goals, which Odegaard obviously enhances that. But again, he took leadership, considering how age he is right now.
With his positioning, because obviously you played as predominantly a right-sided right winger. Do you feel that it might have improved you? Because with Bukayo, he started as a left-back, it seemed, and then he went to left wing, and then obviously Mikel
improved me.
Improved you as a...
I hear what you're saying.
Cut in and shoot, you'd have got more goals, I mean. That's what I mean.
I scored quite a lot for Arsenal, over 108, but which was pretty good from the right.
We know that. We know that.
Yeah,
exactly. I know you could play, mate. Don't worry.
No. To be honest, it was a position at times. It was, Nasri was out on the left-hand side. We had Olivier Giroud, a different stature of forward, Ron van Persie. I was used to playing on the right because I loved, like Bukayo there, he loves assists. I did like that as well. I got even more joy out of that at times, to be part of, involved in the goals. But yes, I hear your point. That was a finish I actually really liked, particularly from the left-hand side. I followed Michael and Thierry Henry very closely, inside step. And I never played that much on the left, but it's one of those positions where I actually felt I could be up front as well. There was periods when I did, but
he's always been a recognised talent, Bukayo Saka. If I ever have heard any criticism of him, it's been about consistency, about maybe not delivering in the bigger games. It's maybe been about just growing into his role. All of that seems to be coming for him this season particularly.
And as well, just how easy he puts the penalties away. I know maybe Fabianski will be a little bit disappointed in not getting it, but everything that's happened to him in his career up until now, to still be in a position to think, look, that's fine, I can deal with this, it's no problem. Just shows that he's very mature at such a young age still, but very...
The first, half an hour or so was just fantastic. Did it feel like that? Did you feel that you were putting on a really complete performance?
Yeah, obviously we felt really strong. I think the first goal was a set piece, which Gabriel, again, amazing. I think we showed some really great football, and we're doing that for the last 3 games already. So we just need to try to keep this momentum going, because we have a big game coming up against United.
Duran, it's Theo here. I just wanted to say, you talk about big games, and I just want to ACL and how you've come back, and not just the way you perform, but physically to look after yourself in this moment, because it's a very hard injury to come back from. You look like you've not been away from the game at all.
Just the people around me pushing me always. I always say you're as good as the people around you. So those are the most important people in my life right now, and they help me to get where I am right now. And just trying to push, keep going. To be honest, the players around me are so good that it makes it easy as well to play for me. But I feel good, I feel nice, I feel fit, and that's the most important thing for me right now.
You're in, Jamie Redknapp. Congratulations on a great win. I talk about your performance as well. I thought you were excellent today. Left back, right back. You got that versatility. It seems to be so.
No, I think that's a good thing. I think we have a big squad with a lot of good players, and I think we showed that last week and this week again with different players in the starting lineup. We just have to keep going like this.
Though, just to ask you a question, you just mentioned about the set piece there and the first goal. And when you were setting up with Bukayo Saka taking the corner, Gabriel came up to you and he said a few things. And I watched where your position you took up just behind the 6-yard box. And then you made a run to just do a little slight nudge on Paquetá just to stop him heading the ball so that the ball could, obviously, it was a great flight. That was your job.
I can't tell you that.
Yeah. Come on. Listen, the game's over now. You've got to tell us your secrets.
No, I can't tell it, but it felt a little bit like an assist, to be fair.
Are you claiming an assist for that?
I helped him a bit with that, no, but it was a good execution. But it's not the first time, I think, this season or last season. We scored a lot of nice goals from set pieces, and not only Gabi did it again, but the whole team showed they were really good at set pieces.
Yeah, and that is the thing with set pieces, why you're so good, because it's not just about one person attacking the ball. It's so good because it's not just about one person attacking the ball. It's a real team effort. Everybody has their own roles in scoring those goals, and obviously the set piece coach. How much goes into that every day in training? How often do you spend on making sure that the set pieces and all the details are right?
A lot, of course, but to be fair, we have so many games that on the other side you don't have a lot of time to train that. But I think when we train it, we're really focused and very detailed when we train it.
Jurien, obviously you're all extremely focused. Bukayo Saka has told us, you're looking ahead to the Manchester United game in midweek. You've already mentioned it. I'm sure it was important already, but does it add a little bit more to it? No,
what you said, it's important already. To be fair, I think also for Man City and Liverpool, every weekend game, every Premier League game is hard. And tomorrow we play each other. I will watch the game, rest on the couch at home, and I'll be prepared for Wednesday against United. Yeah, all you can do is get your own 3 points and then hope the rest of the weekend pans out as you want. That's it. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to talk to you. Thanks, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Well played.
Thank you.
Well done.
Interesting to hear him talk about the set pieces, Jamie. Because
he didn't give away too much.
No,
I
he's not going to,
because
exactly. They might well use something similar at a different stage in the season. But you'd imagine other clubs have got their own coaches watching how Arsenal set up. But it's interesting how much attention to detail is paid to set pieces, isn't it? Of course, Arsenal went to great lengths to bring in Nicholas Jova from Brentford.
Yeah, and I just take it back to sort of my era where set pieces would be something that maybe you spent a little bit of time on a Friday. Yeah. It was cold. You didn't have the ability of all the stats and the TVs where you can stop it and do it in a screen or in a class. I have to be honest. 10 years ago, I had a role club is looking for who is the next guy, and you've not got to play the game. You just have to see the game in patterns and realising where spaces are, if you've got the right delivery. But it's all right having the best set-piece coach in the world. You still have to have people that can, one, deliver the ball at the right place, into the right place, and two, attack the ball. And that's what Arsenal have in Gabriel. And they all have their jobs, but he is a monster in the box. He's so difficult to stop because he's aggressive, he's big, and he wants to get on the end of it. And it's so hard for teams to stop, Theo, isn't it?
Set pieces together because it's so important for them, and it's the worry now they create and the uncertainty in the crowd as well. You can just feel it, the pressure that they allow, and tonight it just showed how important it was, and not just tonight, but it's going to be all season. Gabriel is an absolute
what they've got,
soldier
Theo,
right now,
I don't know if you agree with this. When I see teams now, they have every team on the back foot. Because straight away, what they did to Tottenham with set pieces and what they've done to West, you end up reacting off of them. Rather than thinking, OK, we're going to protect this area because when Arsenal scored their first goal, everyone went to the back post. That's their thing. But if you actually just left them there, nobody's going to score from there. And if you stood in your area where you go, OK, we're going to dominate, we're big and we're going to attack that ball, I don't think you'd have too much of a problem. But straight away, they've got everybody thinking. We spoke when there was a little... I asked Jurien the question because... because there was a little bit of dialogue.
Can you highlight him on the so we can see the move
this was when they were talking. This was just before Kelly, and you could see there that Bukayo and Odegaard. He comes up and says, "Right, this is going to be your job, Jurien. You have to then make sure you get across the near post and do do that little because it has to be something that's very subtle, Kelly." Now we get it onto the touch screen. Now you can see him there. He knows what his job is. So I'm going to just get him here, right? So there he is. There's number 12, Jurien Timber. He knows now that his job is to get to Paquetá, who's doing that front post, and just make sure that he can do a little bit of a job on him. Now, the rest of the players, you can see there, you've got Havertz, he's with Emerson. You've got Antonio, who's obviously really important in this with number 6, and then you've got Saliba there, who's with Toledo. That's an area where you have to make sure that you mark. But the one player in all of this that you have to get right is Gabriel. And I think getting Antonio to mark him is a mistake because I don't like seeing forwards. Very rarely are they good enough to stop him. And he never gets close. Everybody else, as you can see it, is they're tight. They've got their hands on the player. But Antonio never really gets close enough to him. Now you can see, right now, he probably thinks, Antonio, I'm in a really good position. I got him. But it's like bumper cars, this area here. You've got Calafiori there. and you've got Wan-Bissaka. Now, what he's going to do really cleverly, Gabriel, is just make that run there. I hope you can see that. Is that all right?
Yeah, it works.
It's all right. But he's just going to make another dart, and then that collision comes with Antonio, and then he's in that space there, exactly where he wants to be, to get a free header on goal. Then you're asking this man to get the delivery right. Saliba is going to... Urian Timber's on the way. He's going to wait for that ball to come in and just get his timing, just so he can just give a little nudge to Paquetá. And as he does that, the ball comes in. There's your little nudge. There's that space that's been created because Antonio doesn't do it right. And that's the big problem.
I mean, here, Jamie, as well, you talk about timing, and the timing of West Ham is completely... They're just reacting. No one's really looking at the ball. You just go back slightly. Soler here. He gets...
Yeah, I'll take that
You
back,
just watch Wan-Bissaka. His right foot steps on his toe, and he's disrupted him.
Yeah,
but
just here.
Just here, sorry. Yeah, you can just see clearly here if I play. He just steps on his toe, and he apologises. He looks, and now, all of a sudden, he has no idea where he's in the field. And Calafiori creates a shadow. Gabriel goes behind him, and he's creating a shadow in front of him to be that protective barrier. And Antonio still hasn't actually got eyes on the ball. It's too late, and it's a fantastic finish.
Can I ask what players between him and Gabriel?
He's the only one, Kelly, that I would say. I'm going to just let it run for a second. It is hard, but everybody else you can see. You can see Emerson with Havertz touch tight. You can see Wan-Bissaka with Calafiori touch tight. You can see Toledo with Saliba touch tight. The only one that isn't is Antonio and Gabriel. There's a 3-yard space. So all that Gabriel is thinking, right, is I've got you now. I've got you exactly where I want you. I'm going to get myself round the back here and fire myself into this area because I know this collision is going to happen in this area or if not there. And what I said when I said a minute ago about maybe, because if West Ham were to say, OK, let's put everybody here and say that ball has to in here. Nobody has ever scored a header from there with that many people. It just doesn't happen. But once you get them all running across you, but if West Ham actually were brave enough to say, right, to make sure that I can head it away, sometimes you're better off doing that because all you're doing is reacting and you're scared of what Arsenal, the questions they keep asking of you. So I think it's almost you're creating the problem for themselves as well. And that's why Arsenal do this, because they want to go, right, OK, you come and play us at our game. And then once Gabriel does it, Kelly, you can see here, and again, Antonio, he's now in big trouble, but you can see everybody else has their man except Antonio, and he gets away. And look at that space that opens up for him. It's great from Arsenal, but I think, as Theo rightly says, West Ham could have done a lot better.
But as well, you say about if West Ham moved, I feel like Arsenal are now in a space where they've got another set piece for that. But if people are in that position, we've got something else for that. They're always keeping you guessing, but incredible.
But I think teams are terrified now. Yeah. They are because of the height and everything. But like I said, the best set-piece coach in the world, you've got to have people that attack the ball and you've got to have good delivery.
20 goals from corners for Arsenal since the start of last season, which is 5 more than any other team. It's working for them. He's the best right now in the Premier League at attacking it. And how many has he got? Do you know, Kelly? I'm going to ask you a question. Nope. Wait, give me about 10 seconds and someone will tell me.
John will tell us. OK. And so 2-0, Theo. This is good wing play. You love this, didn't you?
I do love this. I talk about the connections with the wingers and the time on the ball that Martin Odegaard gets, but it's just the run as well. If you just go back slightly, you see Havertz.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You have to hold it. You have to take it down. A bit more experience with me of this, but yeah, comes out here. Havertz, you can just, if you play now, you see him just drag.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, Theo, what's going on here? That's a big old circle. That's all right. That's OK. That's OK.
You will want to see Kilman come out and engage, but because they've put so much pressure on West Ham's defence, it's allowed here Saka to be now where he does his thing and these connections we talk about. But I want to just single out, actually, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players, West Ham here. All of them, you'll see it clearly shortly, are all fixated to Martin Odegaard. No one's aware of any runners. And as a written rule for fullbacks, and I wasn't a fullback, but you need to disrupt Saka now. You need to disrupt him because it's a one.
When you say disrupt him, what do you mean? Like almost? Like,
I mean, you're going to come here. I'm going to step in front of you now.
Get your arm across him.
Exactly
it's too easy because Somerville and Emerson, they just let him run.
They let him run, and no one's watching the ball. And the first touch off the thigh, it's cushion. It's a training ground. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. Martin Odegaard's pass. This is what we were saying before of what Arsenal have missed. Already, he noticed there, Martin Odegaard, he did a little scan just to see how much space he has in the ball.
Can I just stop it there a sec?
Yeah,
from West Ham's point of view as well, Theo, right? When you play against certain teams, we spoke about how important Odegaard is. I feel there's only a few, and it's happened in a 10, 20-year period in the Premier League. Certain players have to be picked up in this area of the pitch. Now, when I see this, and I see, like, the most important player is there, and he has that space around him. It's like a force field. It's like, why doesn't anybody actually, Paquetá, turn your shoulder? There's the danger. Soler, come and get closer to him. Souček's got Declan Rice, but somebody has to get close to him, because what he's capable of doing is picking a pass that's just going to unlock the door. He's miles too passive.
And as well, a difference to the way they played at Newcastle. Like I said, a great cushion, brilliant. Trossard's in the right area, right time, and it's an easy finish. It's a fantastic goal. But I just love the give and go. But this is what I was saying here: need to disrupt, not switch off. All switch off. Fantastic pass. It's so easy. They made it look so easy, because to break down a back line of 7 as well, isn't. But Arsenal really did.
And Theo, you could definitely do this. I know. I saw you play.
Please make it do that big sparkly circle again.
But this is great wing play.
It's great wing play, because Emerson, he needs help. He needs help in this situation here. But already, we talked about West Ham, the amount of running they did against Newcastle. There was a lot of tired legs, particularly in the first half, I felt, with the confusion here. And Paquetá here comes in, and if it plays, sorry.
That's it.
Here we go. It's a lazy leg, and it's made the referee's decision so quickly. But that's just what we're talking about. Mikel Arteta, he's so committed. He can go both sides, Mikel Arteta. He's not one-dimensional. And I think that's the one thing about him as well. He keeps everyone guessing. He's just, at this moment in time, he's playing with so much confidence.
And then when it comes to the penalty, Odegaard and Saka have a little chat. It looks like Saka's going to take it, and then it's Odegaard who steps up to take it in the end. But we return the compliment a little bit later on. But it's just interesting how they manage it between them. It's not two players wrestling over the ball. This is a grown-up conversation between two players who are more than capable of taking penalties.
Yeah, you said it there. They're both more capable of doing it as well. It keeps them guessing with the goalkeeper as well. I mean, look, he tucks it away with ease. It's one of those where you get someone like Martin Odegaard on the score sheet. More and more confidence it breeds. But look, they're sharing the goals now. But it's obviously helping with Martin Odegaard back in the team.
I can't lie. I find it really weird.
Yeah.
I find it so strange. You know, if you're Martin Odegaard, you've scored one, why don't you want to go and take another one? Because you've got, Saka was relatively lucky with his one. And if you've got one, you've got a feeling. It's like when you've scored a free kick and you go, I won't take this one. Well, you just scored one, take it again. Obviously, look, there's maybe more analysis, more data goes into it now. And there is everything I feel when I watch Arsenal play, there is a reason behind it. I don't quite know what that reason is. I'd love to find out if we'd have spoken to Martin Odegaard.
Might just even be the element of unpredictability from Fabianski's point of view, maybe.
Or just been nice.
Do you know what? That's going to be the last option that any of us were going to get to there, wasn't it?
I've scored one. Yeah, you have a go. It's lovely. But that's not normal. When you talk about the Premier League and you've got to be, got to win ugly at times and every penalty that counts, they obviously feel that it's the right way to get the result. And by the way, it worked. So who am I to say?
And it worked for Havertz as well, who got the 4th goal for Arsenal. It was a blistering first, half an hour, wasn't it?
It really was. And as, obviously West Ham, disappointing, losing the ball back Qatar. But Kilman maybe could do better. But this is where Havertz has improved. The calmness, the controlled manner, tucks away of ease. But you can see here, Paquetá loses the ball and they can't recover in time. And it's a fantastic ball from Trossard. But I just feel like Kilman perhaps could... You were saying before, out of shot, Jamie, we were saying that he could maybe run with Havertz to stay with him, because Havertz isn't the most gifted player physically, as in pace, I mean. So that's where you could maybe disrupt him. But look...
That's the last resort,
That is the last resort. Yeah. But again, it's a fantastic finish. But as well, I want to point out maybe Lucas Fabianski's positioning here. You can... Sorry if I just play on a little bit further. You can't quite see in the screen, but he's already stuck.
He's backpedaling already, isn't he?
Backpedaling already, but the ball's so lofted. He's already in a position where, actually, if you keep an eye on where the ball bounces for the second time, where he is compared to where the ball lands at, he could maybe be on Havertz's toes to put a bit more disruption to himself. So, look, a fantastic finish in that perspective, but...
he executed it perfectly.
So, just while there was a little bit of hope for West Ham, when the energy levels in the ground had just raised themselves to maybe thinking they could get something from this game, it was squashed again. A second penalty decision. This one, a bit more debatable.
Yeah, well, we actually said, Theo, didn't we? Because we were like, just for the game, West Ham right now. For the game, West Ham right now, they've got to get in at 4-2 just to give yourself a sniff. You cannot, but as soon as this set piece come, obviously a different setup as well. You've got Gabriel at the back post here, Antonio still, he doesn't want to look at the ball. Why would you look at the ball? You know, but he's not interested. He's trying to just look at him, trying to follow him, and again he ends up getting himself free. But it was a bit.
Yeah, it was very different to, you know, a couple of weeks ago in the Champions League against Inter Milan when someone actually did the same thing to Gabriel, but probably made more of an impact, actually. And I feel like it's one of those where now the referees are now in a situation where they've got to be careful because this happens quite frequently. And if you just pause it here, sorry, if I just slow it down, if we can probably
just
play forward a little bit, sorry. Scrapes his face and doesn't get a clear connection, but 7 seconds to make the decision. If someone gets punched in the face, it's not that long to think about it. As one of the top referees in the country, should be aware of straight away it's a penalty. But it's what the reaction that causes. And at times we see Mikel Arteta on the sideline actually probably influences referees' decisions at times, I will say. But look, I think Arsenal's reaction here has really made Anthony Taylor decision.
It took him, Gary Neville was right, it took him 6 seconds to decide, didn't it? I didn't like it, I've got to be honest, Kelly. I didn't think it was he dispatches it pretty well. I'm not comfortable with it, but I see why he's given it, because we see, I think consistency is what people want, because we'll probably see a load of those over the weekend and none of them, a lot of them won't get given, but that one he decides to give it. The truth is he could have hit him, punched him and broke his jaw. It's that, you're coming out, the keeper's punching the ball.
So there's the potential.
There is a potential. So it is dangerous play to a certain extent, and you could see as he got up, he did definitely catch it. It was a bit of a graze. Not enough for him probably to go off, but,
5-2 then. All done and dusted in the first half of that game.
Player of the match there. So 10 assists, which was mentioned there in the interview, surpassing his tally for last season, which was 9. Will he be happy with the amount of assists he's notching up?
Assists, what does that mean? It's all about goals.
Spoken like a true striker.
All about goals.
But he's contributing?
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's a forward player, so you're judged on goals and assists. He's contributing, his numbers are high. But I'm sure deep down he'd obviously want to score more goals, of course. You want to score more goals than your assists. But if the team's winning and scoring that many goals, then and you're contributing, like I said, then that's the most important thing.
But overall, a quality player, David. Yeah. He is unbelievable.
And what you don't see with him doing is taking on shots when he knows there's a player in a better position. He always puts the ball across. He's not a greedy.
Not selfish.
He's not always after the goals, and he might be happy with the assist, but he wants goals, but he knows that when he's in the right position, he will square it to a guy in a better position. So that shows you a quality player.
But he seems to be a player, as are all of the players actually, that seem to be just improving and taking it up a level, up a gear every time we see them play, especially in the last 3 games.
But I think Arsenal's been like that for the last few seasons, to be honest. They've had little blips here and there, which is normal throughout the course of the season, but I think in the main, really, we've seen that with Arsenal where on their day, they can score 5 and 6 goals. Because in the forward areas, they've got so much quality. The way the manager wants to play, his attention to detail, from what you hear, he loves coaching. He spends hours and hours in coaching, his set-piece coaching, so he ticks all the boxes. So you expect them to be like that.
So, David, what is the key from your experience of maintaining this level? What's the key to continuing that level of success with the games coming thick and fast, with the Premier League schedule relentless over the Christmas period? Because what they want to do is maintain that high standard.
Yeah, and it's keep that momentum going. Hopefully stay away from injuries, and have a full squad to choose from, because that really makes a difference. We're seeing that with Man City, but with Arsenal now, I think the only guy out is Ben White and Tomiyasu as well. So we've still got like a big squad to choose from, and then keep that momentum going. And it's weird because they'll come off now off the back of this, big win against West Ham. Straight away, thoughts will go straight towards Man United on Wednesday.
That's key, isn't it? Well, let's have a look back at the goals. We'll take you back to 1-0. Gabriel, this was a set piece, and this was straight off the training pitch.
Yeah, it was really good because it was a funny start. The starting position, they all started at the back post. You can see here. And it's really difficult to pick up, actually. And then there's little blocks and stuff like that. But, and Gabriel just gets a good header there, just directs it into the far corner. But the starting positions required. You don't really see that too.
You look at Timber there, as he gets that block, and then it allows Gabriel to get onto the ball and gets a free header. All that just doesn't happen by chance. That's all planned. And they do a lot of set-piece practice at the training ground.
And look at that. 28 goals from set pieces since the start of last season. And you would think, actually, that teams would find them out a little bit because they're used to them scoring from set pieces, but they're still managing to deliver at such a high level.
The key thing is the quality of the cross that's coming in. You've got Declan knocking, like a cross in with pace with his right foot bending it in. You've got Saka on the other side with his left. And it's really hard to defend, and that's why you're getting a lot of the little flicks. And then with Gabriel coming in, timing it perfectly, it's just a header, it's a proper header on goal and it's in. The goalies don't hardly ever move.
How, as a goalkeeper, would you deal with that?
It's really hard because it's all about reactions, and then there's bodies in front of you, and unless it hits you, you ain't really got a chance because it's so close.
That's why you want, obviously, your defenders to make first contact, because when there's so much movement like that and there's blocks and stuff, I don't think the goalkeeper can do anything.
Yeah, well, we talked about Saka. He provided the assist for that, and then for the second goal, which Trossard fired home. Trossard, he's a good player. He's getting more and more chances to start in this Arsenal side as well.
Yeah, he is, and this is like what I was talking about earlier, like Odegaard finds him there, and Bakar could easily shoot there, but he knows that there's two people in a better position, and he just squares it in. Whether he likes his assists, I'm still not having that properly. He'd rather score, but he's a very intelligent football player.
But you're right, that's an example of what you were saying.
Exactly. He could easily shoot. What would you do, Jermaine?
I probably would have shot. No, but this Arsenal, the way Arsenal playing at the minute, it reminds me of the Invincibles when you had that Thierry Henry, Ashley Cole, Robert Perez. When on that, they always vacated that left-hand side of the pitch and very unselfish. You see a lot of the Arsenal goals back then, where they'll get into positions and players just pass it across the goal and just tap it into an empty net. But it's really unselfish. But, I mean, he makes all the right decisions, Saka.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? And then the third goal, well, it was a penalty, and we were happy with the fact that it was given as a penalty.
Yeah. The first one or the second one?
The first one.
First one, yeah. When I first saw it, I thought, he's just, there wasn't a lot of contact on the player, but then when you actually see it slowed down, there's no contact on the ball at all. There's a touch on Saka's left shin, I think it is, and he goes down and that's it, just there, or left side of his ankle. And it's a penalty.
Do you know what he's really good at? He's like a 1v1 specialist. Like when he gets 1v1, he commits people, and as soon as they move, he just goes past them so easy. But it was definitely a penalty. And obviously Odegaard here, you always fancy him to score.
Yeah. And then sure
and it was interesting, Saka giving the ball to Odegaard there, which, well...
I'm sure it's because of that celebration there. It's that celebration there.
The players are too nice these days.
No, you wouldn't have done that, would you?
Giving your goals away.
But what's the reason? Why do you think he did? Is it because Odegaard's just come back from injury? It's his first goal this season? Captain?
No, I think it's because he's either just about to have a baby or not him, obviously. It's his partner.
That's not the first time they've done it.
No.
I remember, was it last season? I think it's not the first time they've done it. And I remember Mikel Arteta coming out and saying it's just something that the players do. If someone fancies the penalty, then...
You've got to trust in your teammates.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Leandro Trossard again now because he was involved in 4-0 as well.
Dave, do you want to talk about this one?
I like this. I love this pass. Because it's a quick decision. Look, he has a little look up, first ball pass.
That's amazing.
The defender, if you're not going to get it, go with the ball. But then this finish is brilliant because he just lifts it over Fabianski's leg, because Fabianski goes to make a foot save, so he's spreading his leg out and he lifts it. If he hits that along the ground, Fabianski saves that.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot of credit. Great.
He deserves a lot of credit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the amount of goals that he scored recently and last season.
He's their top goal scorer now.
Top goal scorer. Yeah, it looks an easy finish, but it's not, because you've got so much time to think about it and you're actually running straight.
Yeah.
So you can't really see the goal, but it's a nice, cool finish.
Going back to what you said about Havertz, at the start it didn't quite click for him, and I remember the fans were really on his case as well. It was a difficult time. What was the difference? What's made it suddenly click for him? He just seems to fit into the team so well now.
I think that's, he's been shown some love as well, by the fans and by the players and the manager, because the manager kept picking him, and he was getting a lot of stick, and people were always, Trossard's playing, Havertz is playing, but he's battled through it, and then he's got a goal, then he's got another goal, and now there's there's a song about him and it's brilliant, you know, about being a waste of money, and he scores again. You know, that's can't do all the song, but
Sure.
it's quite naughty.
The interesting part, also, when you look at the goal scorers, there were 5 different goal scorers today, Jermaine.
But it's so funny we said that because we spoke before. And I remember having a conversation with Thierry Henry, and he spoke about you need goals from all over the pitch. You know, in the Arsenal teams, when you get Freddie Ljungberg, 15 goals, Robert Perez, Thierry Henry, so it's goals all over if you want to go and try and achieve anything. And 5 different goal scorers today, if they do that going forward, it obviously help.
We still need a striker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that conversation's gone now, right?
Well, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
It'll never go away, you know, because when we have a game where we don't score, you know, sometimes it looks like we really do need one. But can you imagine if we did have one that was scoring goals? What, you know? Yeah. Where would that put us?
Exactly. How's everyone doing on the Arsenal group chat then? Everyone absolutely buzzing.
Yep, they're all loving it.
They're all buzzing.
The Invincibles and the Incredibles are all on there.
Invincibles and Incredibles, that's brilliant. OK, well, I mentioned the 5th goal scorer. That was Saka, because it was a penalty given. Fabianski's foul on Gabriel. What did we think of this whole incident? David, I'll come to you on that.
Yeah, it's a hard one for me because it's not a big punch on his head. It's just like a glancing punch. He's only just missed the ball. And I've seen a few of these given recently. I remember Martinez, I don't know if it was for Villa or when he was playing for Argentina, did one like this and it got given. And now there's a little trend, you know, that is so minute. It's a little glance on his head and the referee's giving it straight away. It's not
You would have been disappointed if that was
goal. Because not only that, as a goalkeeper now, it makes you nervous. The only thing I could say about Fabianski's technique, maybe, is that when he comes out to punch, it's like he's throwing a massive haymaker rather than a short jab at the ball. You know, and if you're just doing a short jab, your hand and your fist haven't got as far to travel. If you watch this, he really loads it up to go and punch it over the halfway line, and it just catches the side of Gabriel's head. You know, it's a big punch.
I think even with a cross, I think it's quite high. It's not like it's whipped in. Do you think he even needs to come? I don't think Gabriel can. I don't think, because it's looped in, you can't really generate much power on a header.
Yeah, but it's in the 6-yard box. Like you said, it's got a bit of height. You know, you would expect your goalkeeper to come for that. You know, I think it was the right decision to come for it. Just maybe, you know, a little bit different with the execution of the punch.
Okay.
Pues es una ausencia importante, porque no ya es uno de los jugadores que siempre suele comenzar los partidos en esa escalera. Y vamos a ver hasta qué punto lo siente y lo nota el Barrio, que ha sido un equipo un poco de extremos durante los propios partidos, ¿no? Muchas veces ha empezado mal, luego ha mejorado en el segundo tiempo. Hoy el Barrio tiene que salir con mucha más concentración desde el primer instante, porque esto es un partido de playoff y delante tienen un equipo con mucha calidad, como es los Troncos.
Atento está para el cierre, Gil Vidal, segundo palo, Carlas al palo. Adri, ¡gol! ¡Gol del Barrio de Adri de Contreras! El penalti Presi. Mira, y Adri Contreras haciendo de la suya. Se queda en el campo y dice... Ian disparó. ¡Oh! ¡Saca la llenar! ¡Gol! Verdú, también Edgar Álvaro. Verdú la deja para Edgar. Rompe la barrera. ¡Oh! ¡Gol, gol, gol! ¡Gol! ¡Tenemos suerte! ¡Gol! Todo tuyo. Ahí está Marmartra, que lanza un bueno. Jugador estrella.
¿A quién ponemos?
¿Será doble jugador estrella?
Sí. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Penalti?
Pues quiere penalti, no quiere quitarle el jugador. ¡Gol de los Troncos! ¡No falla Verdú! ¡Viene Arché! ¡Manu Martín! Al lado de la pelota. A ver, aquí va directo a la pelota. ¡Gol! ¡Perchita! ¡Gol! Para los Troncos. Se fue por la clásica, por la segura. Chita, Sorroche con el centro. La bajó muy bien Litus, pase atrás. Edgar. Buen pro en el área. Paufer con el cuero al segundo palo. La tapó. Pérdida la tiene Arché. Se va recontró Carraflana. Rebote para allí. ¡Gol! ¡Gol!
Adrián González, habéis repetido la suerte de las chicas y estáis en semi, enhorabuena.
Pues nada, muy contentos. Parece que ya empezamos a salir del pozo en el que nos metimos en Liga después de esas 4 derrotas seguidas. Y nada, a Madrid seguro.
Os enfrentáis, al igual que las chicas, a Ultimate Móstoles, guerra de clubes, parece.
Sí, esperamos a ver si podemos ganarles ya, que desde que salí de allí de Móstoles no le ganó ningún partido. Así que nada, DJ, voy a por ti.
O sea que celebración de gol si marcas, a lo loco, todo, ¿no?
Tanto no, pero ojalá le meta uno.
Bueno, enhorabuena, a disfrutarlo.
Muchas gracias.